This week's episode of The Grid is sponsored by MPix. Shoot today, upload tonight, we ship tomorrow. On One Software, focused on photography. Peachpit Press, publishers of technology books, ebooks, and videos for creative people. Epson, exceed your vision. Expo Imaging, rogue flash benders for speedlight enthusiasts. Intel, the power you need for hardcore creatives. Squarespace, everything you need to create an exceptional photography website. And B&H Photo, the professional source.
Seconds. Oh, hey, we're on.
Live.
Whoa, hey.
I told you it was 5.
Hey, we're live, really? Are you sure?
Didn't notice.
Okay, just real quickly. Okay, watch. 5, 4, 3. Hi, everybody, and welcome to It's Our 100th episode
Woo,
of
yay!
The Grid. Woo! Nobody thought we'd even do 5 episodes, and here it is 95 episodes later. And they still haven't yanked us on the air. And the only reason why they haven't pulled us off the air is there actually is no one to pull us off the air. Because we're not on a network, we're just goobers on the internet. And speaking of goobers on the internet, not you. You're our special guest. I was going to treat you with kindness and respect. But Brad is another story.
Hello.
All right. Joining me, co-hosting today with me, because he is just a big bucket of fluffy love, Mr. Brad Moore.
Hello.
Yay.
How are you?
That's all you got? Hello?
Hi.
After the fluffy love intro?
What do you want me to hug you or something?
Okay. But we do have a special guest today. We have a special guest today. Photographer, blogger, one-time friend of Brad, Ron Martinsen. Hey, Ron.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So before we do anything, we have a lot of things to do. We have a lot to cover today because we got some wild stuff for you today. But I think the most important thing is to start off by pimping your blog.
Yes, please.
Because you have a great blog.
Thank you.
You have an awesome blog. Cool. Where can people go and see your awesome blog?
RonMartBlog.com. How about that?
It's like Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I tell people. It's just
like
like
Walmart.
One-stop shopping?
But it's Ron Mart.
Yep.
There it is.
Yep.
Ron Mart blog. And you know what else? See, he has the word discounts there.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
It's really, what gear should I bring to Disney?
Yes.
A camera.
Thongs? Okay. Hey, so where's Matt today? Where is Matt?
You're asking
Matt is, he is in...
Oh, he's with Bill
I think
Fortney.
he's at Mount Rainier today. I think he's in Mount Rainier
I had no
today.
idea where they were at.
So, yeah, he is out doing a workshop with Bill Fortney out in Washington State at the Palouse, and then they're driving a bunch of miles. RC is in Nashville, Tennessee, teaching a class today.
He is.
So it's just us
I like
here.
Nashville.
That's funny that they're there. I'm from Washington State. So,
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
We hung out in Seattle.
Yeah, we swapped places.
Well, that Matt heard you were coming. He's like, I'm getting out of.
That's right.
How's the farthest away I can get from Ron?
Exactly.
It's back where you were from.
and I'm sitting in this chair.
And there you go. All right, so a bunch of cool stuff. First off, our buddy Moose Peterson just released a brand new iBook today. Cool. And it's called Photography, if memory serves me right, it is Photography Fundamentals.
It is.
That is right.
The fun is all caps.
The fun is all caps. Fundamentals. Anyway, I cannot tell you how much I've learned from Moose over the years. I've been to many of Moose's workshops, originally as an attendee, and then later he invited me to be a guest. And he just knows more about photography. He's forgotten more than most people will ever know. So he's a great source for it. And it's an iBook. It's in the Apple's iBook store. You can go get it there today. Go get Photography Fundamentals.
I hear the forward is amazing.
Okay, I wrote the forward. Hey, by the way, I haven't written a forward for anybody's book in like...
It's a video forward, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's a video forward.
Yeah.
But I stopped doing them because everybody was asking me to do one. But it's Moose.
It's Moose.
Moose asks you, you kind of, it's Moose, right? Moose. Hey, let me say something about Moose. I was in Lake Tahoe a couple weeks ago with my wife, and I wanted to do a dawn shoot. And Moose drove from his home in California to meet me in the lobby at 4:45 a.m.
That's crazy.
Right, for a shoot. And then he also made sure that it did not fall in the water.
Yeah.
Because we were going down on rocks and hiking down and stuff and all this. So,
That's some serious love.
It's some serious love. Hey, can we, let me just look at one more thing. Oh, I want to give a shout out to Carolyn Baum. Carolyn, we're shouting out to you just because you say such nice things. So, feel the love, be the love.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hi, Carolyn.
Shout out to Carolyn.
That was a weak shout out.
Shout out.
There we go. Hey, a couple things. B&H, because you were hearing us talk that on Monday, we had this big Lightroom Summit thing in New York City. I think it's sold out. It's like, I saw like they have 22,000 people something signed up.
22,000?
Wow. Not 22,000, 2,000 something.
2,200.
So I think the live feed is sold out. I mean, the live if you want to go to the convention center and the event. But you can go to, they're streaming it.
Are they?
So you can go to this address, which may or may not show up on screen. It is http://bhfo.to, right? bhfo.to/11AE8SB. It's so easy. It's so obvious.
Why wouldn't you remember that?
That is ridiculously obvious. Maybe at some point in the show it will pop up on the screen because that's kind of a...
I mean, if only you could customize short links
Yes.
to be something memorable.
That actually is a customized short. Look at that.
No, but you can, the
slash.
the numbers and letters, you can customize that.
Well, you know, I mentioned your show on this B&H thing on my blog, so that's probably why it sold out.
That's I'm sure it helps. But it helps every time somebody does that. So anyway, so we're really excited about it. Brad and I are going to be there. I'm doing some Lightroom stuff. We're doing a live shoot, a very complex live shoot. We're going to use 36 flashes.
No, one.
One flash. Okay, yeah. So
Big softbox.
It's not really complex. It's what happens right before we step on stage that's complex. All right. Also, I got some new tour dates. I'm going to be in Colorado Springs, and we're giving away a ticket to my Colorado Springs seminar coming up on July 29th.
Yay.
Brad will be there.
I'll be
Ron,
there.
you won't be there, right?
No, I went to Seattle show, though.
Seattle, he was at my Seattle.
That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
San Antonio coming up on August 16th. Indianapolis on August 21st. And San Jose on Tuesday, August 27th. Go to Kelby Training Live if you want to go. Hey, also, one last thing. This last week, we did a webcast live called Beginner Start Here. And it was all about this whole new beginner's curriculum that we've done. It's not just a class, it's a whole curriculum. And it was like the biggest thing we've ever done. It was like the most successful, the best, biggest ever thing. Cool. So if you haven't had a chance to go see about it, go to kelbytraining.com and check out Beginner Start Here if you're brand new. Prizes, let's talk about, we got some good prizes.
We do.
All right, look at all this stuff we've got. First, we're giving away the perfect Photo Suite 7. This is from On One Software. Really great stuff. Everybody's into plugins these days. This one's awesome. All right. Rogue. Tell them, Brad.
They're flash benders, the big ones.
The big ones.
These are
The,
like
the ones
brand new
everybody
XL.
wants. Big, giant XL.
Pro.
Yep.
Pro.
You know it's good because it says Pro.
That's
It says
right.
Pro.
I'm reviewing those right now. It's a great product.
Are you?
Yep.
All right. But are you, look at this. You ready for this? There's something
Brand
we were waiting for a
spanking
long
new.
time for. Zach Arias' book, Zach Arias' Photography Q&A. So, you know, he did that whole Tumblr project thing with all those questions, and it was terrific. And, I'm sorry.
Well, they keep switching.
I know, I hate when they switch cameras. Anyway, it's out now. It's awesome. He has incredible insights in this book. Really, really good stuff. And we're going to give away a book that maybe not is quite as awesome. Is my book, my Photoshop book for digital photographers. It has been updated for the Creative Cloud version as well. So whether you have Photoshop CS6 or the Creative, because I added a chapter. I didn't update the whole book because it's for photographers. Most photographers are still on like CS6.
Right.
And we'll talk about that a little later in this show.
That's on my What Photoshop Books Should You Read list.
This is why you're on the show. This is exactly why you're on the show. Anyway, we have all that stuff to give away. We have a whole bunch more. But so what we did today is it is our 100th episode. Wanted to do something special because I couldn't think of a topic. So so what we did was I kind of put it out there this morning. I said, I don't really know what topics. All these topics came in, and we're going to cover a whole bunch of them today.
As many as we can.
So as many as we can. We're also taking your questions live. One just came in from, looks like John Swartz. He asked, when is Scott's Lightroom book coming out? It'll be out very, very shortly. I'm done writing it. It's done. So now it's just, getting it printed, which doesn't take long. They print it in like an hour. And they only print 3 copies. And then, so you can pre-order it now. You can go to any of the cool places, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can order it.
Peachpit.
And peachpit.com. Thank you for mentioning that.
No problem.
Anyway, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got a whole bunch of topics. We're going to be covering everything from the Chicago Sun-Times layoffs to Lightroom 5 to workflow issues to copyright for street photography and a whole bunch more right after the break. Don't go away. Oh, tell your friends to tell them to come watch the show because it's going to be weird.
Horse racing is kind of a magical event to me, and it's like stepping back in time. There's no other sport that allows you to step back into nostalgia than horse racing. The sport has not changed in like 50 years. You get these great characters, and I tell you, there's that anticipation, that quiet time as all the horses get loaded into the gates, and then everything goes quiet across the whole track. The entire crowd is silent, and all of a sudden you hear the bells ding, and they're off. They just like charge out of there. On my next Kelby training class, we're going to be going to the racetrack, photographing horse racing. It's going to be great. We're going to be covering pan action, stop action. We're even going to be using remote control cameras. Be taking in an entire documentary of horse racing, from horses training early in the morning, beautiful shafts of light across the track that they come through, to the thunder of the finish line. I mean, we're going to cover all that on this video. I hope you join me then.
Hey, we're back. Scott Kelby here with Brad Moore sitting in for Matt and or RC, and Ron Martinsen sitting in for no one because he is himself.
That's right.
Anyway, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And what kind of stuff do you shoot?
I like people and places mostly.
People and places?
Yep.
Can we see some of your stuff?
Yeah, actually, I have a really famous motorcycle shot too, since we're talking about motorcycle shots as well.
Are we talking about motorcycle shots? I didn't see. They can't see my screen.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
So I forgot about that.
So, can we pull up? Do we have your stuff?
Yeah, I believe so. RonMartinsen.com. Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's a bike that was handmade by a guy in Seattle. About 1,000 hours of labor.
Yeah, well, what else do you have to do in Seattle? It's freaking pouring.
Exactly. Spends a lot of time indoors, you know. So
hey, that's kind of naughty. Don't look at that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of motorsport stuff.
Oh, I love motorsports.
Yeah, the tattoo guy is the guy that made it. If you go click on the second shot there, they have a picture of the guy that made the bike.
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah, yeah. So,
wow, that's cool.
So anyway.
That's very cool.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Okay, so we're going to roll on to something. Hey, before we do, we have, Peachpit Press, the people that published that book that I just showed you, these books, they have an e-deal. So every week they have an e-deal, one of our sponsors, and we're very thankful for. The Peachpit e-deal is good through June 15th, which is only a few days away. It is a book called Sony NEX6 From Snapshots to Great Shots, which is, by the way, a terrific series of books just in general. The ebook price is normally $20, $19.99, but we have a 40% off deal for people watching today. It's only $11.99. If you have a Sony NEX6 like me, you definitely want to make sure you get the code here. Stop it, Brad. Brad's making awkward faces that are... Kelby TV is the code. Put that in there and make awkward faces. Look, he still has it on. Okay, all right. All right, we're going to talk about all kinds of things. There were so many people today asking about Lightroom 5 because it came out... It didn't come out this week. It's shipping this week.
Right.
But I didn't make a big deal about it, and I got a little bit of heat. Like, Scott, why aren't you talking about it? Can I tell you why? This is going to sound weird when I tell you. So... the Lightroom 5 beta has been out, what, 2 months? Yep. Yeah, it's been out 2 months. We've all had it for free for 2 months. Do you know what shipping day is? The day you have to pay for it. It's like, you see this thing that you love and you've fallen in love with and you built your whole workflow around it for the last 2 months? The day it ships is all of a sudden like, oh crap. Now I got to pay for it. So anyway, so I did, you know, we do have a learning center for it. So if you want to go to our learning center, you can check it out. We have a very nice thing with lots of videos and stuff. And watch, the lower third will pop up with the address. Just kidding. I just wanted to freak out.
Why would
Meredith,
we
our
prepare
director.
for that?
She's in the booth going, what? Why you never said anything about a lower third? Brad will find it because that's how Brad rolls. Anyway, but here's a couple of things that I wanted to do. Oh, look at this. All right, you know I'm going to read this one. Snowman sent in, Scott, my wife's mad at you. I joined Kelby Training through the Beginner Starts Here event, and now I spend all my free time watching the classes. I haven't seen her in days. Well, you know what? If it's any consolation, I haven't seen your wife in days either, so it's okay. Okay, hey, back to our story. All right, so here's what I want you to do. So one of the things that I find out about Lightroom, and you've probably run into this, I know Brad has, is that I have so many people that go, do I really need Lightroom? I mean, I already have Camera Raw on the bridge.
Right.
Now, for people who use Lightroom,
Yeah.
is there anything more frustrating to hear that?
No.
It's just like, I have iPhoto. Do I really need Photoshop? It's one of those things where you go, oh, God,
So you have a minute here.
Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. First off, I want to tell you something that Matt and I did to try to help this, because Matt's out on the road with his Lightroom tour. I'm doing my Shoot Like a Pro tour. We're on the road, and we talked to so many people, and I want to hear this, and I hear it again and again and again. Matt and I went and we created a website, and the website is called 100 Ways Lightroom Kicks the Bridge's Ass. So it's Kicks the Bridges
Great.
and Camera Raw's ass. All right.
It's on my
Send me the
iPad
link
if you
to that.
wanna
I got to forward that to a few people.
And it's photoshopuser.com/Lightroom. There it is.
Very
now,
cool.
it is 100 videos, but the videos are 60 seconds or less. But here's the thing about it. You're not going to get anywhere into the 50s or 60s. I've had people send me an email after they watched the first video and they said, that's it. Yeah. I had no idea. I'm in. I've had people get to the 6th video. I had one guy get all the way to like the 12th video. But you're not going to watch all 100 because you're going to realize, I just had no idea. I just thought if you already have the bridge and you already have Camera Raw, it's the same thing. Oh, it is so not. So what we do in those videos, they're just real short.
Right.
We give you a quick little, take a look at this. So I'm going to have you switch to my screen for a second.
I have to reconnect to the AirPlay.
I have to reconnect?
Kicked
Okay.
you off.
Oh, it kicked me off. Okay. So here's the thing I want to mention. It kicked me off. I'm reconnecting here. So here's the thing so Camera Raw is in Lightroom. They just took it and stuck it in there. But honestly, it's not just Camera Raw. It's a better version of Camera Raw.
Much better.
Because it does things that the regular Camera Raw won't do. Like, can I show you one? I'm going to just pick a little tiny one. This is so minor, but when you see it, you're like, oh yeah. It's just one little tiny thing. So here's an image I just went and tweaked. It doesn't look good. I over-tweaked it and stuff, but I did it so I could show you a before and after. Now, if you try to get a before and after at all, do you know that most people don't know how to get a full before and after in Camera Raw because they made it very, very tricky. Turning off the preview checkbox only shows you the before and after of the panel you happen to be in at that time. So if you're in the sharpening panel and you say, I want to see what this thing looks like before and after, it doesn't show you the real before and after.
Oh, wow.
It just shows you the before and after of that. So one of the tricks is if you go to, one of the tricks is if you go down to, like, I think it's the snapshots panel or the presets panel, then if you click the preview, it shows it. But you can also go through a menu and choose Camera Raw defaults or image. Now let's look at Lightroom.
Sounds really user-friendly.
So here's the image. You can, not only do you get a before and after anytime by hitting backslash, a full, true before and after, right? So here's the image. I wouldn't have done all this stuff to it. That's the final image. But I messed with it. So that's the after, right? So before, and you see it says before up there? It even lets you know, look, this is the before image. But it doesn't stop there, right? You're in Camera Raw. Look, it's the same sliders in the same order that do the exact same thing. You are physically in Camera Raw. They called it develop just so you wouldn't think it was Camera Raw. But it's Camera Raw. You might as well just say Camera Raw. Down here are these controls. You can either use the keyboard shortcut or you can click them, but watch. Side by side before and after. Split view before and after. Top and bottom before and after. Split view top and bottom. This is just one tiny little of 100 things that are so much better in Lightroom that once you use it, you will not be able to imagine going back and using regular Camera Raw. And we go through everything. We go, here's how it works in Camera Raw, here's how it works in Lightroom, and you're just like,
One of my favorite things is double-clicking the title above the sliders to reset all of them.
Yeah.
You can't do that in Camera Raw, can you? You have to go individual sliders.
Hey, Glenn Dewis, our buddy Glenn Dewis from the UK. Hey, can I say something about Glenn? Dude, is his career on fire?
It is.
Dude, he is everywhere.
Awesome.
Every week he's flying to a new place, doing a new workshop. I mean, he has exploded on the scene, and we have him teaching at Photoshop World now, and he'll be in Vegas coming up in September. Hey, he just writes, my workflow has changed beyond recognition, bringing Lightroom 5 into the mix more now, and bringing Lightroom into the mix more now, and using smart filters with Photoshop. So. I mean, it'll change your world. But here's a couple of things I want you to consider. So, you were at my Seattle seminar.
Yes, I was.
So people were coming up and saying, I'm thinking about should I get Lightroom or Photoshop? I'm going to answer that question for you. Get Lightroom. Here's a couple of reasons why.
Right.
It's way cheaper. So Photoshop CS6, $700. Now, you could do a subscription thing and get it cheaper.
Yep.
If you're new to it, it's $20 a month. But
For a limited time only.
For a limited time only.
That's correct.
No, $10 is the limited time only. $20 is the regular price.
Okay.
So yeah, $10 is if you had CS6.
Oh, okay.
But this is for like, I'm brand new, like I just, I want to get Photoshop and all, it's $20.
Yep.
But here's the thing. Get Lightroom. Number one, Lightroom is easy.
It is.
Yes, very easy.
It's very easy. Lightroom was designed for photographers. Photoshop, quite honestly, was a graphic design tool first. Photographers found it later. I found it as a graphic design tool because I was a graphic designer at one point. So what they did was you had this program that was made for graphic designers, and they've added on 3D, they've added on video, and they've added on all these things. It is a giant Swiss Army knife. It will do everything.
Right.
But with Lightroom, Adobe started from scratch and said, let's build a program just for photographers. And it is very, very sweet. And it keeps getting better and better. And Lightroom 5, hands down, just every time they go back and fix these little things that drive you nuts. What's the thing that drives you most nuts about Lightroom that you were hoping to see fixed?
Performance is always a big one. You know, you always want things faster.
Well, you notice that like in the develop module, things load faster now.
Definitely.
They have these new smart previews. If you use the smart previews, things really, really speed up, and you don't have to take your library with you.
Yep.
I don't want to go through all the new features because you can go watch these over on our site. I'm not going to go through feature by feature and feature, but Lightroom 5 is tremendously better. It's $150, and you own it. You just buy it, you own it. It's not a subscription thing. Now, if you are one of those people that subscribe to the Creative Cloud, it does come free in the cloud too. It's already part of that. But you can just go buy it, Lightroom 5, it's its own thing. But so here's what I would tell somebody. Buy Lightroom, $150. Go buy Elements.
Yep.
You can get Elements for $59. Somebody the other day saw it for $39.
Holy cow.
There's always some special
There's
going
always
on
some
at
special deal.
some
But
places.
$59. You know what Elements really is? Elements is Photoshop with some stuff you'll never use turned off. So you're not going to do CMYK separations. You're not going to have black paint compensation and all this different stuff. They turn off some things you're not going to use. But you know what's in Elements? Well, Camera Raw.
Right.
So, but all the things like Liquify is there. Healing Brush is there. You know, the Spot Healing Brush was in Elements first.
Was it?
And then, yes, the trivia, Brad.
Things you learn.
No, Elements is amazing. Elements is 85% of Photoshop for $59. Now, you're thinking, Scott, isn't Adobe going to be mad? You don't think Adobe knows that? You don't think that they know? Geez, this thing's really, why are we selling this for $59? You know, believe me, Adobe knows.
Yeah.
But, you know, Adobe wants you to buy it. That's why they sell it. That's why they have that product. So if you're just getting into this, just go get Lightroom. And don't even buy Elements yet. Here's why. I'll tell you, I do 80% of my work in Lightroom. How much do you do in Lightroom?
At least that, if not more.
If not more?
Yeah, every image starts off in Lightroom.
Yeah, right. So it's like the basis of our workflow. But there's this point, and it probably won't happen to you for months, where all of a sudden you go to do something and you go, oh yeah, Lightroom won't do this. And at that point, you go, oh, I need to add like real sophisticated type, or I need to do blending of images or something, and you go, okay, now I need to go to Photoshop, but go to Elements first.
Right.
It's $59. So that's what I would do.
And a lot of your plugins work in Elements as well.
Yeah, a lot of plugins work in Elements as well because it's Photoshop stripped down.
Exactly.
But you know, can I tell you something? If you had to choose between $59 Elements and $150 Lightroom, pay the extra money and get Lightroom. Yeah. Because honestly, Lightroom is easier than Photoshop Elements. Photoshop Elements is not easy. I got a book this thick on Elements. It's like, I'm not joking, it's 500 pages. Matt and I co-authored a book on Elements.
Right.
It's like 500 pages. It's not easy.
Yep.
But I'm being straight up with you. All right. Hey, Angelica Perry. Hi, Angelica. She's very wonderful. Can you create custom page photo books in Lightroom 5? This question was asked by a friend of mine. After asking Adobe Online Support, I was told it could be done, but still can't figure out how to get around the 5 choices they give you. So yeah, can I show you real quick? Can we zoom over to my my screen here? We'll just kind of jump over. Oops, different car. Okay. All right. So you can go in here. Here's what you do basically. Go and create this. Go to this little pop-up template of pages and choose the one photo template, and it fills the whole screen. At that point, just go to what was it? Cell. And say unlink all, so you can just move these things any way you want. Are they all linked here? You're not this. I should have started with a blank page, but oh, there we go. Unlink them. So then you can pretty much build a page with a graphic anywhere you want it. Just go full bleed page.
Yes.
Turn off the link all in the padding of the cell. And I'll make such great sense. Go to the cell panel and turn off link all. Then you can put the picture anywhere you want. When you're done, you're going to right click on here and choose Save as Custom Page. That's brand new in Lightroom 5. That was not in Lightroom 4. That's a Lightroom 5 thing. Save as Custom Page. So once you put that there, now you will have a whole section of custom pages. You'll look in this little pop-up menu. You'll see custom pages, and there will be your personal. There's 3 of mine.
Cool.
Yes, you can do that, Angelica. Thank you for asking. All right, quick topic, not photography related. What is your opinion on the Xbox One versus PS4, since I hear you guys talk about COD all the time? That's from Jose O. Jose, we're Xbox guys.
Yep.
I'm not happy with this new Xbox One, though. I'm going to hold on to my Black Ops 2 on my old Xbox, which has already been repaired once and replaced, as long as I can.
It's going to be awesome. Xbox One.
You think it's going to be good?
Definitely.
All right, tell me why it's going to be good.
Because the family entertainment centers, that's the center of the household. That's where you want all your stuff. You want to have your games, your video. You're tired of having to program all your devices, your TV.
I have all of those on my iPad.
You want all that stuff working together nicely, and it's going to work. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome?
You're going to love it.
Do I have to buy all new games?
We'll wait to see what happens with that.
All right. I want to talk about workflow real quick. Because, it's break time. When we come back, we're going to talk about workflow because I see a lot of comments today asking about workflow. Now, by the way, this whole show is not about Lightroom. We're just trying to dispense with this. It's the biggest topic, but we're going to dispense with it right after this, and we're going to go on to other stuff that'll make you angry. So stick around. We'll be right back. Brad's here. On that side, there he is. Brad's here. Ron's here. Pete's over there. You're out there. We'll be right back. Look, news desk.
Hi everyone, we are the Photoshop Guys. I'm Corey Barker.
And I'm Pete Collins.
And today we're here to talk about a very special offer for Knapp and Kelby training members. Wacom Industries is offering their Intuos 5 medium tablet for $50 off. This is exclusive for Knapp and Kelby training members, and this offer is good till June 23rd.
And what's amazing about this is the best price you can get this anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just for our members, and that's pretty exciting.
That's right, and the price is normally $349, and with this offer, it is now $299. Now, where do you find out how to get this discount? Now, go to your member site, go to the discount section, and find out your coupon code, or check your email. Chances are you've got an email right now that has a coupon code right there waiting for you. So be sure to check that out. Go to Wacom.com to the online store and get your Intuos 5 medium.
Hey, we are back. Scott here with Ron and Brad.
We're being serenaded.
I was singing, but you don't want to hear it. Anyway, hey, I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Squarespace. So Squarespace is the awesomest, most awesome-y online portfolios for photographers. So I had SmugMug. And they're tied into them. So
Okay,
I have my main thing at SmugMug, but then I wanted a sports portfolio. So I put my sports portfolio over just at Squarespace, and it links into they have like a kind of, what do you call it, a partnership, a something.
They work well together.
They work well together, and it sucks all my SmugMug things in there. So what Squarespace's thing is great looking templates.
Yep.
And you do it yourself. It's completely good looking, great stuff. So go check them out at squarespace.com. Very, very, very slick stuff. They got a ton of buzz right now.
Cool.
Hey,
can I show my blog that's on Squarespace?
Oh yeah, let's see Brad's blog that's on Squarespace. Can we go to Brad's iPad? There it is. Be more.
So I use it as my blog. It's usually just kind of quick posts from
Dude,
concerts that I've shot.
shots. Who took those?
I did.
Come on, seriously. No, dude, you're a kick butt concert photographer.
Thank you.
And I thought you did really great on that particular shoot too.
So anyway.
Hey, can I show my favorite one? The very first one. Go back to the top.
Oh, wait, what just happened?
What happened?
I don't know. There.
There it is. That's my favorite one. That shot's badass. That is really cool. Okay, back to our story. Hey, somebody just asked Dave, just a guy named Dave, just Dave. Hey, Dave. Scott, do you use Lightroom in editing sports? I do, but I don't start there. I honestly use Photo Mechanic. all pro sports shooters do, sadly. And Adobe knows that. It's not like they're, but
They've been told many times.
yeah. So if I'm in a room at an NFL game and there's 60 photographers coming to the game, covering the game, you see 60 versions of Photo Mechanic running on every machine. But I have a workflow. In fact, I'm releasing an ebook on my sports workflow, and it starts in Photo Mechanic for the reasons I explain in the book. Then I jump to Lightroom to finish and go straight to the newswire from there. Okay, workflow. I want to talk about workflow. There's so many questions about this. Can I tell you what? First off, stop overthinking it. I think that's one of the biggest problems. Everyone's thinking that it should be something very hard. It's really, really simple. I'm going to give you 3 tips that will fix your workflow. Number 1, in Lightroom, just use one catalog. Just use one catalog.
I agree with. I do one per year.
Well, oh, actually, that's what I'm doing. I do one per year. I have a 2013 to 2012.
Because you know what year it was,
right?
And it speeds things up.
But just use one catalog. You're thinking, I have this ability to have multiple. Don't do it.
Yep.
Don't do it.
That's what collections are for.
Yeah, one catalog. Number 2, put all of your images in one folder. Now, you can have multiple subfolders inside of that, but pick a folder that's going to be where all of your photography goes. It can be on an external drive. In fact, I recommend putting it on an external drive. But inside that drive, so you open up your drive, it's empty. Stick one folder, call it Pictures or Lightroom Pictures or whatever, and everything goes in folders inside of that.
Yep.
The last thing is, when you name your stuff, use real names that make sense.
Yes.
If you went to Italy, if you went to Venice, name your photos Venice.01, Venice.02, Venice.03. Just use real names. Because here's what your life will be like if you do these 3 things. You'll be sitting in front of your computer and you go, man, I want to look at those pictures that I took last year in Venice. I'm going to go to 2012, travel, Venice, and there's your photos.
Right.
Your whole life will be like that, right? You shoot a lot of cars, right? If you want to find some Indy cars that you shot.
Formula 1 in my case, actually.
Formula 1. Dude, I've always wanted to shoot Formula 1.
That's awesome. Yeah.
All right, so Formula 1.
Yes.
How hard is it to find it in your Lightroom catalog?
Super easy. Actually, I know the year, and like you said, it's going to be in cars.
It's going to be in cars.
Right.
Formula 1, whoop, there it is.
Yep.
Just because all these people have these really, I put the day it was taken by the date, and then just name it Formula 1. Now, if you shoot Formula 1 every year, if you shoot one time here and you shoot it in Abu Dhabi, where I want to shoot it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Then name it Formula 1, F1, Abu Dhabi, 01, 02, 03, 04. Just make it easy. Do those 3 things, and you will have a wonderful. Hans Labyrinth, which is our buddy. He did live in Seattle. When I went there to Seattle, I called him and said, hey, you want to meet us for dinner? He's like, I moved to, where did he move to?
Reno.
Like Reno. I'm like, dude, Reno? Nobody moves to Reno on purpose. You get sentenced to Reno. I do 3 catalogs. Do you know why you had to move to Reno? That's why. 3 catalogs. If you had 1 catalog, you'd still be in Seattle.
That's right.
In the rain, and you'd have 1,000 hours left to build a motorcycle. All right. That's the Lightroom stuff. Pete actually liked that one. Yeah. So, all right. So I want to get to some of your those were all, everybody was asking those things today. So I wanted to get those out of the way. But now let's go to some other stuff. Andres Burgos, is that right? Andres Burgos? That sounds about right.
Yep.
Had a question about privacy and rights in the context of street photography. He wrote, I always think about people and privacy. If I were to take a portrait of someone on the street, I would ask permissions. But when there are people in the background not being the subject of the photo themselves, am I attacking their privacy? Furthermore, if I were to publish any of those photos for a portfolio, contest, or magazine, does any of the people involved could claim any rights? Okay, and he said, thanks for the grid, which is, you write that, we always answer your questions. All right, so I'm gonna tell you before I tell you this, number 1, that I am not an attorney. Number 2 is, I'm going to give you an 800 number to call. No. No, but I'm not an attorney, so I'm going to give you the advice as I've heard it, because I asked this exact question to an actual photo attorney, Ed Greenberg. He was a guest on one of our shows, and this whole thing about street photography came up, and I want to tell you what he told me. And this is understanding the difference between commercial photography and fine art photography. If you are out in public and you're walking around, I don't need your permission to take a picture of you. I don't even need permission to print that and actually sell prints with you on it. Right. Because you're out in public. I can make, he thought, easily 1,000 prints. As long as you don't go onto like a printing press. But if you have an Epson printer and you're printing them one by one, that he said around 1,000-ish prints.
1,000 is like the limited edition cutoff, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
something like that. Like at 1,000, you go over 1,000 now, it's probably mass production. But you don't need anybody's permission in that thing. So when do you need permission? If you want to sell that image for someone to use in an advertisement, because they do have the right of publicity. You're able to sell your image as look like I'm endorsing it. So if you were to sell it to Delta, all right, which I'm very happy with Delta this week because they were bad to me last week, but they were good to me this week.
Cool.
So if you wanted to sell your image to Delta and it has somebody in it, you have to have a signed model release on that person, because now they are basically advertising for Delta. It becomes a commercial thing.
They are endorsing that
They are
company.
endorsing that company.
And they have to know that they're
and they have the
endorsing
right
that
to
company.
sell that.
Right.
But if I'm taking so look at Jay Maisel.
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine, Ron? Let me ask you.
Yeah.
May I call you Ron?
You may.
Is that your real name?
That's my real name.
Okay. So Ron, if you were in New York City, you take a picture of some guy about 18 years old. You're going to walk over to him and say, "Can you sign this document?" Bam! You'll get hit so fast. Jay had a funny thing about the length of your lens is in some relation to how fast you get hit in New York City. But I'll tell you, I'm walking down the street. I'm leading a photo walk in New York City. I'm walking down. I can't even tell you what street it is. I'm in Washington Square.
Sure.
Was it Washington Square?
I don't know. I wasn't with you.
Doggone it!
There was a thing called Times
You're
Square,
always
maybe.
supposed to know. Washington Square Park.
Yeah.
I'm walking down towards the Empire State Building.
Yep.
And there's an awning, and it said something like the New York something. And there's the Empire State Building. I think, hey, I'll take a picture.
Right.
I just hold up my camera, and I'm taking the awning, and a guy walking towards me thinks I'm taking a picture of him. He explodes
Oh, my
on me.
God.
Absolutely explodes on me. Goes crazy and is cussing me and yelling at me and all. I'm like, I said, dude, I'm not even taking a picture of you. I'm shooting the Empire. You're just a fine-looking guy and all, but I'm taking a picture of that, you know.
Yeah.
But he was like, I mean, just like literally assaulting. Like if I recorded and played it, people would be shocked at how upset he was. But here's the thing. You're not going to go up to strangers and ask them to sign a legal contract. Would you sign a contract? If someone walks up and hands you a 3-page document and says, I took a picture of you, I need you to sign it. Oh, see ya.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's a couple of questions coming in. How does that apply to children? I think the rules.
Same rule applies, yeah.
You would have to get the parents' permission to sell that photo.
Exactly.
If you're not selling it yourself. So just remember, there's 2 big things here. Advertising and commercial use, you selling your prints.
There's also the consideration of looking like a creeper when you're shooting children.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't shoot
it's-
kids without parents' permission.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, if you ask me to shoot my kids, the answer will always be no.
Yeah.
That was from Chris Rhodes. So next one is from Albatross. I get it, Alba. Okay. Okay, but if I take a street photo and then I use the picture to advertise my own photography, is that a situation where you need a model release, or is it only a third-party advertisement where it matters? Honestly, I don't know.
Yep.
My gut feeling reading it is I wouldn't do it. But I can't say if you didn't use it for a gallery opening.
Yeah.
That's a question for.
It becomes
you know
a gray
what?
area.
We have a whole class on this. We have multiple classes. I hate to plug my own stuff. No, I don't. I like plugging my own stuff. So here's the thing. We have Ed Greenberg, that attorney. We have Jack Resnicki, who is a copyright advocate. They have classes on Kelby training. If you don't want to sign up for Kelby training, you can rent them for $10. Go watch the model release class. They did a class just on when you need to do model releases. So go watch that. But okay, this one says, I do publicity shots for the local theater. Can I print and sell them, use them as samples, enter them in shows, etc.? Well, legally, can you do it? If you take the shots, yeah. But what is your contract with the local theater? Right? Does the local theater say, I do publicity shots? So it must be the actors on stage. Can I print and sell? Yeah, you can print and sell them. Can you use them as samples? Yes. Can you enter them in shows? Yes. I'm not an attorney, but my understanding is absolutely all of that, because you're entering them in shows. Yeah. Using them as samples? Sure. Can I print and sell them? Absolutely.
And make sure you haven't signed a release that says something
All
otherwise,
right.
too.
So it's a double standard. Why should anyone make money off my face without permission? The face owner, my property. Hey, this is great. Okay, you're in public. Now, if the photographer sees you like through a window, like you're at a hotel, you left the window open, he takes a shot, that's where there is a, it's what is it?
Expectation of privacy.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm glad you're here. That's exactly the right term. Are you an attorney?
No, I'm not.
But that's exactly the right term, an expectation of privacy.
Yes.
But can I tell you this? Now, I remember reading about this years ago. So you remember the Girls Gone Wild? I know you do, Ron. Girls Gone Wild. Well, they had those videos where people would, they'd get them to women to take off their shirts.
Right.
So a woman went and sued them because she was at Mardi Gras. She's like, I remember she was a school teacher. She took off her shirt for the camera. Hey, I'm partying and woo! And they put her on one of the videos.
Right.
And she never signed a model release. Right. And she lost the case.
That's correct.
Because they said, you were in public. That's why that last person, it doesn't really work. If you're in public, your picture is allowed to be taken, is allowed to be printed by the photographer. It's art. It falls under all that. It's art until you are allowed to sell your face for an advertisement.
Also editorial too. That
Same thing in editorial.
Yeah. So anything. I mean, you see these the National Enquirer or something like that. They'll have nude pictures of celebrities that are kind of blotted out.
Yeah.
How do they? There's an expectation of privacy if you're on your deck in your vacation or something like that.
Plus, they also have in their budget legal fees.
They have money.
That's part of the expectation.
And so that if it's editorial and your blog is editorial.
Question from Night Photo: if I visit the States, do the pictures I take there fall under U.S. law or the country where I'm trying to sell? Who knows? Seriously, I have no. It's a good question. I have no idea. All right, what about Brad shooting artist/band? How does that work, Brad?
Editorially, I'm in the clear for basically whatever I want to do.
Yes.
Right.
Where am I at here?
And a blog's editorial. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, so I'm in the clear for anything I want to do there. But the minute that I step into even fine art sales, it gets a little gray. Like, now I know other photographers who have relationships with bands and they sell prints all the time, but they're splitting the money between. So it's.
I got a question for you then.
I personally, I don't feel right about selling prints without a band's permission, but that's me. The actual
people do it all the time.
But the legal action, it varies by state. I asked Jack Resnicki about this. He said it varies by state. There's rights to publicity laws in every state, and they're different. So it's not a countrywide thing. I don't know, but anything commercial.
Doggone it! I had a good follow-up question for you, and I completely forgot it.
I'm sorry. The minute you step into anything commercial, then you got to have.
All right. I was told that at a public venue, rodeo, that it was on private property, and I had no right to take photos unless given to me. Is that true? So here's the thing: if you're in any kind of venue, they can decide. Like, for example, the NFL and Major League Baseball have a rule about how big your lens can be. I think it's 6 inches.
Sure.
If you show up to the stadium with a lens that's longer than 6 inches, they can tell you, no, you can't bring that in. Yeah, there's all kinds of rules, but you know what? You see people everywhere taking photos at any major sporting event on their phone, 8 megapixels, 14 megapixels, whatever. They're shooting with their phone. Yep. Those images are shared all over the place, but it always changes when it becomes commercial, just like yours.
Yes.
Everything changes as soon as you go to sell it. What was I going to tell you, Brad? I wish I could think of what you were, because it was about the concert prints. It was about selling them.
You said that.
Oh, no, here's what. So listen to this, and Brad will tell you this because Brad and I have talked about this. So let's say that you're a band, you go in concert, and you've invited these photographers. These fighters said, can we shoot you? They'll shoot them. Those bands don't have the right to use those photos that the photographer took.
Unless...
They've actually gone and tried to buy them or license them from the photographer that took a shot at them.
Unless you sign a release when you walk in the venue that says because they're called rights grab releases. And it'll say explicitly, by signing this paper, you are allowed to take pictures of us. but we own the rights to these pictures in perpetuity with no compensation to you.
In perpetuity?
Yes.
Worldwide, like universe-wide, in any known or unknown worlds, like these are crazy contracts. I don't sign them. I walk out. If I'm
and your ticket
presented with
actually
that.
sometimes will have that on it as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, Alan Hess just chimed in. Alan Hess is a rock concert photographer and has written the book on concert photography. Alan writes, it all depends on the release. This is kind of what you were just saying, that you signed or asked for when you go to get the pass. So, and that is true. So, hey, we're going to take a short break. Man, we could go on and on about this, and we're starting to get into some weird stuff. But we got a lot of things to cover yet, and we're running out of time.
Yeah, we are.
So when we come back, we're going to talk about the Chicago Sun-Times. A little different angle on it than everybody's talked about it to death. So I'm going to talk about one little other angle when we come back. Don't go away. We'll be right back here on The Grid with Ron and Brad.
Cool.
Two guys on The Grid.
Here at Kelby Training, we have hundreds of classes and thousands of lessons on all kinds of photography techniques, from beginners to advanced. But if you're just starting out, maybe unboxing your first DSLR, you may not have a clue where to begin. What if you had an opportunity to learn from world-class photography instructors exactly what you need to get started? From the very beginning, with help all along the way, Kelby Training now can give you just that. We're launching an innovative new tool for beginners called Beginners Start Here. It'll lay the foundation needed to understand your camera and walk you through how to capture beautiful images. And the best part is, all you have to do is tell us a little about yourself, such as your camera manufacturer, your DSLR model, and what you're interested in. And we'll design a custom curriculum to help you take your photography to the next level. It's the perfect way to learn at your own pace, on your own time. Plus, with a subscription, you get access to our online training wherever you are, so you can replay specific clips or even repeat the entire class if you'd like. We'll take you step by step, right through the process, so you can start taking good images in no time. And as you grow, we have a huge library of classes on all different kinds of photography techniques that can help you take your photography beyond the basics. So if you're just starting out and itching to turn that mode dial to something other than auto, then this is for you. And we're passionate about teaching you how, every step of the way. Start here at kelbytraining.com.
Hey, we're back. Thank you for tuning into The Grid. Here's where I would normally say something about our sponsor, but there's nothing on the teleprompter about it, so we're just going to not even say anything at all. Hey, we're back to the show. I want to mention, okay, the Chicago Sun-Times thing, I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. They laid off their whole photography staff. All right, they laid them all off, and they're teaching some of their journalists to use an iPhone to take pictures. Okay, that is just a whole different topic. We're not even, that's been done to death. Vincent Laforet wrote a very good blog post about it.
I have to read that.
If you search for Chicago Sun-Times plus Vincent Laforet, he wrote, I thought, a very, he had one of those when you get to the end, it really makes you think kind of thing. It wasn't just the standard, you know. But there's two things I want to talk about. First off is, here's the thing. Newspapers are in huge, huge, huge trouble. You can't find anybody that says they're not. And the other thing is, I don't think we as a society are going to switch to digital newspapers. No. Because you know what it is? Unfortunately, things just change. Things happen where we as a society say, this isn't really, you know, what we're going to do anymore. And I don't think, I mean, I get my news, we all get our news instantaneously from a whole bunch of sites. And I bet if you're getting your news online, it's not from a newspaper. I bet you're going to CNN or, you know who I really like? I don't know what their editorial slant is, but I love the way it's CBS News. I never went to CBS News, but when they had the Boston bombing, I wanted every news source open, and I went to there, and oh, that was someone's being mean. I went to CBS News. They have the best looking news site. Their site, it just has a really good look to it. Anyway, but and you know what else I like? They kind of plug a couple of CBS shows in there too. Like on the left side, you see a little, it looks like news. Oh, nope, it's tonight on CBS. I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool. Anyway, but so I think that's the problem. Right now, we are all focused on the photographers being laid off. Yep. In a few months, there'll be groups of writers talking about how unfair it is how many journalists were laid off.
Yeah.
And then it'll be how many people in the printing department were laid off. I mean, this isn't something that is like, well, we've laid off the photographers, we're back in financial health. You know, it's going to be a mess for all. But this is not what I want to talk about.
Well, people also need to talk about, do you still buy newspaper? How are these papers making money? I have no idea. If you're not giving them money, then how can they afford photographers? So.
Well, you know what? There will come a time like my son. I don't think he'll ever read a newspaper in his whole life.
Yeah.
He's 16.
Yep.
The last thing he wants is a newspaper, because by the time the newspaper's printed, that's yesterday's news.
Yep.
And so there will come a time where it's just not what we do anymore, and I'm going to miss it, because I used to love newspapers, except for the ink on my hands. I used to love them. So and there'll still be, just like with books and everything else, they'll still be around for many years. But I mean, obviously, there's less and less and less of them. When you see things like wholesale laying off your photography department, that's not a good sign. But this is what I want to take issue with. When they said why they let these photographers go, they said that it's because more and more people want video content. So here's my problem with that. I watch all the news sources, CBS News and CNN and NBC News now instead of MSNBC. They all have videos. If I click on a video, if I click on a story and I realize it's a video, I can't get out of there fast enough. Because every video starts with a 30-second ad first.
Yep.
YouTube, you can click skip it.
Yep.
There is no way to
Sometimes.
skip it. Yeah, most of the time on YouTube.
Most of the time.
On YouTube.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I like to know how much you have to pay for that. Anyway, but here's the thing. You make me sit there for 30 seconds and wait. I would rather you got into it, and at a really key moment, you made me go to a commercial, because then I'm kind of in that. Yeah. But the thing is on CNN is the worst about it, because you know what they do every once in a while? They let you watch one without a commercial. And so every time, so you know what my wife and I do? We do this all the time. We talked about this the other day. We go to CNN, we click on a video to read what the story is. They give you 2 or 3 lines, and then we leave. So they probably show a lot of traffic going to the video page. Like, oh, look at all the people going to the video page.
How many people actually complete the video?
How many people actually even hit play? I would say 99 out of 100 times I never even hit play. Because I know if I hit play, here comes 30 seconds. Now, 30 seconds doesn't sound like a lot of time. Right. It doesn't if you're watching TV and you have to run to the restroom or make a snack or something like that. 30 seconds on the internet is a lifetime.
Yes.
It's like time is actually moving back.
See, I have no problems with them putting ads on
Neither do I.
on the front of the video, but make it proportional to the length of the video.
Yeah, if the video is 1 minute and 20 seconds, don't make it a 30-second ad.
Yes.
And you know what? If it's a shorter ad, I'm much more likely to watch it.
If it's like a 10-second
ad, I'm like, yeah, I'll wait for 10
a minute
seconds.
video.
But for 30 seconds, boom, I'm out of there.
Yep.
So I know that everyone's trying to find a way to monetize video. But I don't think when Chicago Sun-Times said that's what people really want, they don't want it the way it's served up today. If I could go to CNN and just click and it was always just the video, I would do that all day long. In fact, I'm not even sure I'd even want to see print that much, except for, it's like, Brad and I did Pimpy Thursdays. We have tomorrow on my blog, every Thursday we give away free stuff, and then we mention all the different deals and stuff we have. I kind of try to put it all on one day. We did video, and all everybody did was complain. Because if it's text, you can scan it real quick. Yeah. Even if it's a 2-minute video, it takes you 2 minutes. And people were saying, Scott, I used to know in 15 seconds if there was something I wanted from you. Now I have to wait 2 minutes. And we stopped doing it. Yep. Because the page views went like this. And as soon as we brought back the text, yeah. Because in reality, it is faster to read most things with a click than it is to wait for a video to load, watch a 30-second ad, and then watch a 2-minute video.
Now, Hulu will do a thing sometimes where they say, okay, we're going to give you a choice. You can either watch a 2.5-minute trailer for this movie and then watch the show ad-free.
They're smart.
I do that every time that I'm given the option.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, SR Drake, Senior Drake, or SR Drake says, and if I'm on the road on my phone, it takes way too long for that video to load. I could have been halfway through the article by the time it starts. Yeah. So anyway, when they wrote that, I'm reading that and I'm thinking, you know what? That just sounds like a cop-out. That just sounds like we have to say something instead of saying we're in huge, huge trouble. So I think that's what they were saying was
And what's that really great picture site, Boston Globe or somebody that does
the Boston Globe, their stuff is phenomenal.
A couple people go there, I think, to that site.
You know what
There's
else,
some good photos.
I don't think that there's ever been a time in history where we value photography more than today.
Agree.
Today, everybody is involved in photography. My daughter's into photography. My son's into photography. They may not have DSLRs, but that doesn't mean the photos that they're taking aren't really important to them. And also, like I was telling my wife today, I saw on a Singapore Airlines A380 flying from somewhere to London, and it had incredible turbulence, and food went everywhere, and it wasn't the airline's fault. They warned everybody, and they everybody sit down, and the captain came on and said, "Get in your seats now, flight attendants," and they hit like horrendous. I mean, everything that was not bolted down was on the ceiling. I mean, the guy was taking pictures, you know, of coffee stains, you know, and stuff. So I actually think there is a place for people to be able to report stuff like that. There wasn't a journalist on the plane, and he became a journalist. Right. That's cool. I'm not cool with actually making journalists become photographers. Yeah. I think that I know. You know what? I don't even want to open this whole can of worms, because I would hate to be at the Chicago Sun-Times and figuring, well, we got to cut costs. Yeah. Because you know that's exactly what they're doing. Exactly. And they're thinking, well, we can hire freelancers, we can do this, and that's happening from all the newspapers. It's happening from all the magazines. How many people did Sports Illustrated used to have on staff? And now they're using almost all freelancers. They've got and that's the problem. Is there's still good freelancers out there. Absolutely. You can still hire people that are really, really good quality, but if you don't have to pay health insurance, and health insurance costs, do you have any idea what Brad's health insurance costs? Let me tell you what. If you would stop the crack, it would go way down. But because every time I look in his office, I'm like, dude, anyway.
Can I keep the heroin?
You can keep the heroin, sure, it's fine. Hey, I want to take a short break. When we come back, I want to talk about iOS 7 and photography. I want to turn you on to an app that nobody knows about. Well, not nobody knows about it. Very few people know about it. Brad didn't know about it.
I still don't know what it is.
Do you know what it is?
No, I have no idea.
I'm telling you, it's going to be great. You're going to be amazed. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about other stuff. Stick around right here on The Grid. Don't go away.
We'll start to look at it now.
Get the world's best photography, lighting, and Photoshop training at Photoshop World. Here's the top 10 reasons you should attend. It's 3 non-stop days of real-world training where you can get personal attention and unlimited access to the world's top instructors in Photoshop and photography. When you attend, you'll have chances to experience hands-on live shoots and workshops, outrageous after-hours parties and events, and hundreds of classes for all skill levels, along with dozens of opportunities to network with other attendees. In-depth, one-on-one portfolio reviews from industry professionals, and see new cutting-edge technology. Plus, you can even earn continuing education and graduate-level credits from attending. This is the must-attend conference for photographers and Photoshop users. Register before August 2nd and save $100. Sign up today. Photoshop World, the world's best Photoshop and photography conference.
Hey, we're back. Scott with Ron and Brad. Hey, Ron was just saying something on the break that I asked him to repeat. He had a really good point here.
Yes. So again, for videos, how many times do you go back to the site and look at a video again? But for photos, you know, there's always times I look at the photos on BostonGlobe.com, and I'm like, gosh, that was just a really amazing photo, and I'll go back and look at it again.
Oh yeah.
I might even bookmark it. It's like, this is just a really amazing photo.
And you know, all the news sites, if you look at the news sites, they're all running this best photos of the week, best sports photos of the week. I mean, there's a tremendous interest in photography. I also want to ask Pete. So Pete Collins is working over here helping us.
Newspaper freelance.
4 years ago, you were working as a freelance. Freelance photographer for a newspaper in Alabama, right?
Yep.
Okay. And what happened?
Well, then with the budget.
Well, do you want to just come over here and just like say it instead of? So Pete's going to come and he's looking kind of sexy today. There you go.
Don't hit on the sign.
Here, you can use this.
Don't hit your. Yep.
I always hit it. So what happened? I was freelance photographer for this newspaper because they were going that way of just paying freelancers instead of full-time photographers. And then all the journalists there, they gave them. This is when the iPhones were starting to come out and all. They gave them the iPhone. They had to write the story, take pictures, and capture video all there in one shot without sending any photographers or whatever, because they took 3 jobs. Instead of paying for 3 people, they merged it all down to 1 journalist and made them do all of that. So in the middle, they're sitting there writing a story, taking a picture, video, and doing all that. And that's how every journalist over there was.
And that was 4 years ago.
That was 4 years ago.
You think it's gotten better or worse since then?
Oh, it's gotten much better.
Thank you, Pete. Yep. All right, so anyway.
Sorry.
Okay.
The sign.
Yeah,
was,
okay. That was, someone made up a funny one. As long as we buy puppies, we'll need newspapers by JR in Ottawa. All right. Hey, all right. So I want to tell you about, I had some people ask, what do you think of iOS 7 and the photography? I'm really waiting to see what the new iPhone camera does. So they made some enhancements. Basically they put a version, it's not technically Instagram, but Instagram-like live, so you can see the effect as you're doing it. Cool. So if there's like 9 different effects, you click on, well, there may be more, I didn't scroll, it just, from the screen capture, I could at least see 9. It makes it square like Instagram, and you could, so it's better, I'm sure there's other enhancements and stuff, but I want to tell you about this app. It's called FaceTune. Like FaceTime, but it's FaceTune. It's $2.99. It's one of the top-selling paid apps right now for the iPhone. But I don't hear any photographers talk about it. You know what it does? It is an actual, real photo portrait retouching app.
Real time?
It has a real time. Well, no, you take the picture. Okay. You open it up. It has a healing brush.
Okay, cool.
There it is right there. It has like a healing brush where literally it looks just like the healing brush from Lightroom. Look, see how it's showing? It gets rid of that thing and it samples off his other thing.
What is it?
Whatever, I don't know what it is.
Chin.
Mouth it looks like a piercing.
Yeah, okay.
All right, but anyway, I was playing with it at lunch. Pardon me. It does skin softening. It brightens eyes. It brightens teeth. It does all kinds of stuff. What's happening here?
Don't die, please.
I'm not
on air. Wait till after we're off air.
Okay. It's just a cough. It's not a tumor. All right, so it's not a tumor. Anyway, I played with it. It's not Photoshop, but it's amazing how good it is for $2.99
for an iPhone app.
And it does circular healing like Lightroom used to do.
Yeah.
But dang, I mean, you take a picture, you bring it in there, and it has different like smoothing, more smoothing.
Yeah.
It has liquefy.
Oh,
or
wow.
tuck in somebody's cheeks, or just do it with your finger. You move it. I mean, dude, it's amazing for $2.99. So anyway, check it out.
Cool.
Joe Chetsu, I get it. Joe Chetsu
I don't get it.
says, how about what images photographers made? Which images or photographers made you rethink how you want to shoot? All right, so I'll talk about this one. We can all do this, but I already knew who mine was, so you guys can think about it. I remember being in Vermont. Was it where I met you in Vermont?
It was. First time we ever met.
First time we ever met was in Vermont, and I met Brad and burst into tears. Anyway, so I'm sitting in the back of the room, and I had met this gentleman once before, and now he was teaching a class. His name is McNally. And he gets up there and he does his presentation. Now, I really didn't know Joe. I mean,
He's just another Joe, huh?
Well, no, I knew he was a photographer, and he and I had actually done a Q&A together at some conference like a year before where I first met him, met him and Annie, and just, he's one of those guys where you meet him and you instantly like him.
Right.
And so I remembered him from that, but I'd never really looked at his work or anything. And he starts showing this slideshow. So the night before at this digital landscape workshop series, at that point I was pretty much a landscape photographer. Right. So I'm watching this and I'm seeing his images, and I'm in the back of the room like this. I mean, I'm seriously, my jaw was, and I kid you not, they took a break because they have what, cookies and milk, right?
Yes.
Cookies and milk, and we're having cookies and milk. Everybody's having cookies and milk. I'm not having cookies and milk. I go out to the lobby.
Because your mouth's still open, it won't close.
I call my wife, and I said, honey, I see the photographer I want to be. I don't want to shoot landscapes anymore. I want to shoot people. I literally called her from there and said, honey, I saw this guy. His name is Joe McNally. His name is Joe McNally. And that was one where they said, what made you rethink what you want to shoot? That made me. And that was pretty much the end of my landscape right there. I was like, I want to learn to shoot people. And at that point, I hadn't shot any people. I did 0 people. And I was just like, oh, I can't do people. I can't do lighting, you know. It was the first time I'd really seen anyone really successfully use off-camera flash. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I literally called my wife and told her. So, and she was like, who is this guy? No. Anyway, but I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to stop shooting these landscapes and I want to start doing this. So it changed my whole career, changed my whole life, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that was a big one for me. Brad?
Well, I worked for Joe, so...
So he's old hat for you.
Well, no. The first time that I ever saw his work, just seeing what you can do with light and kind of the tricks you can play with it. Like he's got a shot of Steve Martin that is like kind of a double face where he's smiling on one, frowning on the other. You know, it was all done in camera with a light here and a light here, you know. It was on film. It wasn't a Photoshop trick. And just seeing that kind of stuff that he could do. But since you already used him as an example, I'll go probably to Jeremy Cowart. Jeremy has just phenomenal work, and he's constantly finding and experimenting and finding new ways to do portraiture, and just always blows me away with the stuff that he can create. So
I love this.
Those are definitely two of my big photographic heroes.
All right, I just want to look at something real quick. You don't have to see my screen or anything.
The other, let's go old school for a second, is Philippe Halsman, former life photographer. He did a lot of stuff with Salvador Dali. Oh, wow. He has a picture called Dali Atomicus.
Is he a photographer?
Who?
I was making a joke.
Philippe Halsman?
No, a Dali joke. Sorry, I'm just really bad now. Yeah. You have to explain the joke. It gets
But yeah, Philippe Halsman. If you just Google Dali Atomicus, it's this picture of, it's supposed to be kind of replicating one of Dali's paintings, and it's a picture of him levitating in the air with cats flying through the air and water over here, and there's a lot of stuff going on in it, and it's pretty darn awesome. So.
Hey, so I'm going to mention this before we go to Ron's because I just looked it up. So that day that I called my wife was October 23rd, 2006.
Wow.
So that's when I met you, 2006.
Yes, it was.
7 years ago, was that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, almost 7 years ago.
If the math works out, yeah.
But yeah, so that's, up at that point, I'd never actually used an off-camera flash. On that break, after I hung up the phone, I'm like this, oh my God. Annie, Joe's wife, was his wife back then? Yeah, it was already his wife.
Yeah.
She comes out, and she worked for Nikon, and she showed me how to make a flash wireless in the lobby, and I was like... It was just, it blew my mind because it actually worked. So, yeah, that was October of 2006. I had not really, I mean, I had fired on-camera flash and bounce flash and stuff, but I'd never actually taken a camera off flash at that point.
Yep.
So
cool. Well, for me, it's Gary Parker. He's a Pulitzer Prize-winning photojournalist, and this guy just does really amazing stuff. The colors, the expressions. He has the most amazing shot of Steve Jobs and his wife before the launch of the iMac. And you should.
It's not who I think it was. He doesn't do weddings, right?
No, he does not do weddings. You should check this guy's work out. It's amazing stuff.
All right, what's his name again?
Gary Parker.
Gary Parker.
Yeah, Gary Parker.
Is it Gary Parker Jr.?
No.
Did he do that song Ghostbusters?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, Gary Parker, and he actually does cat and dog photography. Actually, anytime you've ever been down a pet food aisle, you've seen some of Gary's work because he does all the milk bone, dog biscuit stuff.
Does he do the milk bone?
But that's like the boring stuff. He hates those shots. Really, the great stuff that he's done has been people: Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Larry Ellison. Just candid, regular people photos. He's done Buster Brown, a lot of kids stuff. It's just amazing color, amazing quality images.
We gotta check him out.
Yeah,
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, Brad's pulling it up.
Yeah, this is a swamp dog shot. This is actually a really cool shot.
Can you see Brad's
let
screen
me connect on
Yeah.
Boom. All right.
I actually printed that shot for him. Yeah, so he's not a Louisiana guy. I'm from New Orleans originally. He's a Louisiana guy. And just has some really amazing work that he's done. Go to some of the national advertising or corporate and editorial stuff. Just really great photographer. He also works with a lot of dwarfs. He's photographed some of the smallest people in the world. There's actually a show I think called Big Tiny on Discovery that I use.
Oh, look at that! That's a good dog shot.
Yeah. This picture he did of a guest article on my blog about that dog.
You know what? So go back up. Go back up. If you rub Brad's tummy, he does this exact thing. He'll flip over. He will flip over just like that. Yeah. Dude, that's uncanny.
And see, the color in his shots are just amazing. He just gets some really great angles. And this is pets.
Oh yeah, this guy's good.
He's got hundreds of.
That's a pet shot there, dude. Look at these are. These are. Oh, I love the next one. Look at that. Well, of course, I love anything in overhead angle.
Yeah, he's got hundreds of just amazing.
That guy's great.
And you should see the high tech. Go back if you can to the high tech stuff that he's done, the Genius series or whatever.
Geniuses and Gurus.
This is like the who's who of high tech.
I've seen that shot.
Yes,
I've seen that I think that's one of the best shots of Bill Gates ever taken.
And Steve Jobs actually wanted this photo here for himself. So that's actually was hanging in Steve Jobs' house.
That shot right there.
Yep.
That's a great shot.
Yep.
And great post processing.
And that was in film. And that was done in film. There's no Photoshop in that when he originally did it. The eyes he did in Photoshop later on. But yeah, that's just amazing. He just finds the most amazing. Yeah. He finds the most amazing backgrounds and just color. It's just, I really love his work. And so when I saw his work, I said, this is the guy I want to be. This is the one, the type of stuff that just, he makes every shot interesting.
Yeah, he's very good. Oh, I like that.
Yep. You should have him on the show. He's a great guy.
Cool. Wow, great. Yep. All right. Hey, unfortunately, we've kind of run out of time. We have some really great questions. I'm going to read what they were. Richard Dirkshire said, wanted to talk about lighting and shooting different subjects with only a speed light. So, Richard, I actually have a class that you can rent for $10, or you can go on Kelby Training if you're already a subscriber, called Light It, Shoot, or Retouch It with Hot Shoe Flash on a Budget. And we light people and all that kind of stuff. And right now, Tim Wallace, who is Tim Wallace from the UK.
Yes.
Isn't Tim amazing?
Yeah,
he's on Kelby Training with a class on how to light cars using just one speed light. Dude, it's incredible. It's incredible what he does with one of them.
He is the most awesome guy ever.
Now, Brad and I just did this. We did this a couple of times. We lit a Ferrari with one light. We lit an Audi A8 with one light. R8? An R8. R8. Yeah. And you do have to do post-processing, right? Because you're going to have part of the car lit in this shot, part in this one, part in this one, and you put them all together with layer masks. So it takes a little bit of doing. If you're not familiar with Photoshop, it makes it kind of tough.
Well, the reality is a lot of car shots, even with multiple lights, they still do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, Nick Verbenek had a really good one. If you're going to be alone, talk about photo shoots while being all alone. And I wanted to go a little into that. We unfortunately
he sounds lonely.
He sounds lonely. And then Mark Coons came up with a good follow-up to that. When you shoot on location with no assistant, what are the 3 essential pieces of gear to have? So can we, one, always have Brad. But what would you say there? I think, number 1, essential piece of gear, you have to have gaffer's tape. Gaffer's tape will save you in ways you cannot imagine. And a lot of people ask me, even on my tour, about what gaffer's tape. You were there, I give away gaffer's tape.
Exactly,
right?
Yeah.
Gaffer's tape is used in Hollywood. It is tape, so picture duct tape, black duct tape, but that actually, it's really strong, but you can tear it with your hands very easily, and it comes off clean. Doesn't leave residue, doesn't take off paint, it's like you can use it pretty much anywhere, and it just comes off, which is why it's so magical. And you can get it at B&H for like $6 a roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, like $6
for a small roll.
Yeah, for a small roll. It's not a big giant, bowling ball size roll.
Spare tire.
But anyway, Alan Hess, who commented earlier, had a very good one. He says, what do you do to improve your photography? With a crazy schedule and little free time, what do you focus on when you look to improve? Do you take classes? Do you go out and shoot? Look through other? This could be a whole show, Alan. I really want to cover this another time. He says, I know Joe loves to photograph and shoot dancers. And do you have something you gravitate to? I'd gravitate shooting cars. Yep. So, in fact, football. We have a car shoot next week now.
Cool.
Next
Tuesday
in an airplane hangar. They're going to move the airplane out.
Very nice.
Put some really cool cars in there. A Ferrari, a Stinger.
Oh, I didn't see.
Oh yeah, we got some really cool cars to shoot next Tuesday.
Pick me.
You're here. You can come, dude. You're
awesome.
Welcome to come.
Cool.
And then let's see what else. And Kevin Graham has going. What do I wish I knew starting out that I know today? And I actually added that chapter to my new book.
Oh, yeah, you did.
To my, I added that in there. Mm-hmm. So here's one. I'll just finish with this one. Stian Klo, I think it is Stian.
Sure.
Stian Klo. I haven't been able to understand the best and most economic solution for me in regards to the Creative Cloud. I only use CS6 and Lightroom. I haven't upgraded either because I don't know if I need to buy them separately or will it be a photographer bundle sort of thing. Right now, don't do anything. Mm-hmm. Sit tight.
Yeah.
Adobe has not announced any kind of bundle deal yet. I hope that they do because I think that they really need one. Mm-hmm. But right now, if you have Lightroom and CS6, I can't tell you to go buy the $50 Creative Cloud. You already own Lightroom and you already have CS. Stick where you are right now and let's just see what happens. Because there may be a time where they make a deal. I mean, I've told them, you know, go for a deal. In fact, when we did a show about the Creative Cloud, and that was one of the things that kept occurring again and again. They were watching the show because I heard from them. They said, "Yeah, we saw a lot of people want a bundle deal, and hopefully they're working on something." They didn't say, "Well, we have it" or anything, but I know that it's something that's being talked about because it was talked about here on the grid, and I know Adobe was watching. So anyway,
hey, you know, one thing I wanted to say is that for your essential items, Hoodman Loop, you know, right here in Florida.
If you're shooting
outside, man, you can't beat that thing.
Yep. Oh, every time I'm shooting a football game, Brad knows we always take the Hoodman Loop. Some other essential things would be literally a clamp, like the little clamps you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's.
It's called either an A clamp or a pony clamp.
Yeah, an A clamp is what we would call it. Just a little clamp to be able to clamp things on. And you know what? One light stand. One really light, inexpensive light stand. Because you might need to put a reflector on something, and if you've got an A clamp and a light stand, that light stand can be used for more than just lights. You can use it for all kinds of stuff, to block the wind if you're shooting flowers. I mean, you'd put a reflector on it to block the wind.
And then you need a sandbag too.
Yeah, you probably need a sandbag, yeah. See, that's the problem is there's not just 3 essential things, but I would think one of them is gaffer's tape, one of them is an A clamp, and
a light stand.
But you can get light stands that are real small. Prizes, they're saying they're writing prizes. Prizes and how to win. All right, we have a bunch of prizes today. Here's where you go. Go to kelbytv.com/contests. And then at the top of the contest form, you have to say, I was watching The Grid. It is absolutely required you choose which show. Put your name in, your email address, and put your credit card. No, just kidding. Leave us any comments that you'd like, anything about the show at all. You can just say, hi guys, hope I win, it doesn't matter. Or you can just give us ideas for future shows. That's what kind of happened today is we didn't really have a super topic. So I put it out there and we had a lot of good stuff. We could do a whole nother show just based on your comments. So thanks to everybody that I wish we'd been able to get to a few more, but we're have run way over. Do want to thank B&H Photo. They are one of the sponsors of our show, and we love them on a level you can't even imagine.
So much we're going to visit them.
So much we're going to visit them next Monday. Brad and I will be there Sunday night, and we're going to be doing the whole thing on Monday. So for those of you that will be joining us in New York, we really look forward to seeing you there. I hope you'll say hi. Ron, where can they find more about Ron Mart blog?
RonMartBlog.com.
Yep. And are you on Twitter?
Yes, Ron Mart.
Ron Mart?
Yep.
Boy, you're really working that brand.
Yeah, I am.
What about Facebook?
RonMartBlog.com.
RonMartBlog.com.
It's all there.
It's on our blog.
Facebook.com/RonMartBlog.com,
I think, is how it ends up being on Facebook. But yes.
But just go to the blog. They can get links there.
There's a social media link. Yep.
Yeah, there it is right there.
Yeah, social media, right where the mouse is pointing.
So I have a question for you, Ron. What gear should I bring to Disney?
That's actually a very good question. And in this photo that I started off with here is kind of one of the funny things that happens with it. You're shooting a crappy light. I got a little sunscreen on the lens and stuff. A lot of things go wrong in Disney, but why are you really at Disney? You're there to be with family in most cases. A lot of times you've come across the country, you got a short amount of time and to be there and stuff. And you don't really, I believe, you really should put your family first.
Sure.
And then, so bring your point and shoot. Take those memento photos, use the Disney Pass, and let the people with a good camera take a shot and pay for those later. You're going to be a lot happier with your family than if you try to get there and take a bunch of pictures. Now, for those people who really want to do it, bring your good camera, but make it a special trip or a special day, that you're going to go there. My goal is to shoot. Family, I'm not going to be going with you guys. You guys go hit another part of the park. I'm going to go take some pictures. I want a good shot of Cinderella's castle or whatever. Then you can bring your tripod and your good lens. Personally, Disney is a big place. I don't want to walk around a lot, so I would do, like you mentioned, for your Shoot Like a Pro tour, try to get the one travel lens that covers the range of the 18 to 300, and minimize the amount of junk that you're having to haul around this ginormous place.
Yeah, it's ginormous.
And so that's really the advice I'm giving is, get a really high quality point and shoot, like a Fujifilm X20. I know you're not a big fan of Fujifilm, but
no, we weren't a big fan of the first.
They've made improvements.
Before. It's much better now.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what, Ron? One of the things I did, because we live, our offices, our studios, in fact, where we are right now, are about an hour and a half from the front gates of Disney.
Yep.
So I was born and raised here. I had been to Disney literally over 100 times before I was 18. Because I lived 45 minutes from Disney's door, so I lived further towards Disney than I do now. And so after a while, you've been to Disney again and again and again, and you've got so many shots of your kids in front of the castle that you're like, So I went one time, and my goal was to take pictures that you didn't realize were taken in the Magic Kingdom.
Very cool.
And then I went to Epcot once, and I ran a thing on my blog, a contest. Where was this picture taken? And nobody got it. And it was taken in Epcot in the Morocco section.
Yeah.
Nobody. And I finally had to just to get a winner, I had to start giving things. Okay, it's in Epcot. Okay, it's one of the, I had to literally kind of say it's in Orlando, it's near the Magic Kingdom, but it's not in the Magic Kingdom. I had to finally give so many quotes that somebody found it.
And that's actually a great point, too, because as soon as that article went live on the blog, you know how it works with blog articles. You always get a lot of feedback right away. And the guy's like, well, I live next to Disney, and I've been there 18 times, and I bring, he brought us 600 millimeter lens and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, you're not the type of person I'm really actually focusing on in this article. I'm really focusing on the people who are making a long distance journey with their family.
Hey, they just set up tripods, don't they?
They do. Yeah, it's actually really surprised.
Of all places, like the world's most crowded place, yep, put your tripod right here.
Exactly.
But you know where it's nice too?
Yeah.
Have you been to Disney's Animal Kingdom?
Yes, just was there yesterday.
They have some really great animal opportunities to shoot animals.
It's fantastic.
I mean, not to shoot them, but to photograph them.
They're very
they get really pissed. You kill a tiger, and you can't believe those Disney people that seem so nice, they turn really harsh.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks everybody for watching. Brad, where can we learn more about you? BeMoreVisuals.com?
Yes.
So BeMoreVisuals.com. That's where Brad's port stuff is. And you have links to everything there?
Sure.
We know you're at RonMart.
RonMartBlog.com.
And you can just follow me on Twitter at Scott Kelby or on Google Plus or Facebook. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys next week right here on The Grid. Take care, everybody. Say bye, Ron.
This week's episode of The Grid is sponsored by MPix. Shoot today, upload tonight, we ship tomorrow. On One Software, focused on photography. Peachpit Press, publishers of technology books, ebooks, and videos for creative people. Epson, exceed your vision. Expo Imaging, rogue flash vendors for speedlight enthusiasts. Intel, the power you need for hardcore creatives. Squarespace, everything you need to create an exceptional photography website. And B&H Photo, the professional source.